Having sex with a person who is unconscious is rape.
Having sex with someone who's not able to consent, who can't say yes, that's rape.
So in conclusion, let's review what we've learned today.
Checklist.
Don't tell her how to dress. Tell him not to rape.
Check.
No one ever avoided rape by wearing a long skirt.
Check.
If you're sexualizing me, I'm not the problem. You are.
Check.
If she's too drunk to consent to sex, it's rape.
Check.
Rape is not about desire. It's about power. It's about domination.
Check.
Victims are not to blame. Check, check, check.
It's not about the skirts.
It's not about the skirt.
Here we go. Hi guys, welcome to another interesting episode of Trash It, okay? So in the house today, I'm gonna start with who is a Trash It virgin, which is Toyin, okay, in the blue. So hello Toyin, welcome to Trash It. Okay, we're really happy you're joining us on this very episode today. And we've got Mr. Jagodantics already waving. Again, he's maxed as usual. So hello Mr. Jagodantics, and thank you for joining us. And we have Nelson, okay, in the corner over there. Thank you, Nelson. It's always a pleasure to have you back on Trash It. And again, the usual Madame Yuri. Hello, darling. How are you?
Hey, hon, how are you?
I'm good.
Welcome, guys. Sorry, welcome on the show.
Okay, so the topic we're going to be talking about today is rape, okay? So we've been hearing it in the news recently. I mean, in the midst of all these Black Lives Matter protests, okay, all over the world, and you've got other people who have a different agenda, and that is to rape young girls, molest underage girls, and kill them afterwards. We all heard about the story of Uwa, who was raped in Benin City in Edo State, and after she was raped in a church, she was killed as well. So now, what the area we want to look at several areas of rape, because rape is a very wide topic, okay? So first of all, the question I'm going to throw out to you guys, when you say rape, you automatically think of a girl, a female, okay? And then maybe the next thing that you think about is, what was she wearing? Was she asking for it? So now let's look at it. Does the way a woman dress, or does the way a girl dress, does that make her open, susceptible to rape? Does that mean she's asking for it because she's dressed in a way that she feels comfortable in, that she likes? Okay, so is she asking for it, or does it mean that, you know, if she gets raped, she deserves it? So Toyin, let me hear from you on that one.
Okay, hi everyone. It's a pleasure to be on here this afternoon. Really good. Right. So I'm personally going to go with the fact that I don't think the way a person dresses should actually result in people thinking that they have a right to violate them. The reason I've gone with that is rape is, as far as I'm concerned, rape is grievous bodily harm, and rape is in the class of violence. And as a research, sorry, I'm a public health analyst, so I have a medical background. And the psychology of violence actually printed out a research once that showed serial rapists. And what they did was they did a research on their brain. So right now I'm trying to deflect back to people who rape and why they rape. And it was found that it had nothing to do with the victim. It had a lot to do with the rapist.
Wow.
So in my opinion, it doesn't matter what you wear as a woman, as much as I advocate. I preach, I'm a pastor of a ministry. I preach purity. I preach that a woman does not have to be naked. Okay, her worth and her self-worth and her value should also be shown in the way she carries herself and works. That is no excuse for anyone to violate your rights. And so when a research was done by the psychology of violence, it was shown that these men actually had underlying problems. A lot of the risk factors that led to men actually raping women were because they were exposed to pornography very soon. So the immaturity of their minds, emotional resilience was not built. The way they viewed themselves, narcissism was a very big part of it. So the way they viewed themselves in a position of power, feeling like they could empower women. Oh no, not empower. They could dominate, rather. That's the word I'm looking for. Dominate a woman. And some men actually did not see any crime in what they did, saying that they felt like they were repaying women for arousing them. So at the end of the day, because rape is a crime, rape is violence, and rape is something done against another person without their consent. in my opinion, in any court of law, it should have nothing. If they were to bring a prosecutor to a court of law and they put an attorney who's defending or a prosecutor, it shouldn't be brought to the place of evidence that the girl had something or anything to do with that action.
Okay, Toyin, I'm just going to throw a quick question to you there. So if we're saying, I mean, I completely, obviously your information is based on research, which is great. Now, obviously, not a lot of people know that, okay? People just think, okay, see what she was wearing, she asked for it. So why is it that sometimes when you see an African person, for example, I'm just going to use an African for example, when they hire a nanny, a house girl, okay? And then they tell the house girl, you can't wear that short dress or you can't wear that tight thing. It's too tight. I don't want, obviously because they don't want their husband to be taken to that girl. So are you saying that regardless of everything you've said about the research and all of that, are you now saying that the woman in saying what she's saying, is she wrong, or is it that she doesn't understand this sort of research that's been done?
Okay, so the way I usually teach this, when I teach classes on sex education, sex ed, or just awareness, social and sexual purity awareness, I try to tell people, I try to put before them different examples. Now, as much as I support what happens in your home, there are different sides and different views to rape and violation. In any case, there's the psychological view and then there's the cultural view, okay, which is what you brought up as well. If you brought a housemaid, I'm going to use your example as well, into your house, obviously you want to put measures in place to make sure you're the only girl happening in your house and that maid does not have a chance, because men are visual beings. But I'm going to put it back on the men. At the end of the day, when I teach, like I said, when I teach about sexual purity, it doesn't matter how hungry you are. I ask them, would you go and eat from an incinerator? Would you eat from a bin? A lot of times, the choices we make in life are about our preferences, how we view life. Some people will say to you, it doesn't matter how poor they are, they would never steal a certain thing, never go into a bin. I know there are videos all around the place, might not be the best of examples, of children in poor places who go into bins and have to eat food from that place. What I'm trying to say is it's a matter of view and perspective. If that man has never seen himself cheating on his wife, that house girl, irrespective of what she wears, how she performs, what she does, he would tell her to either leave his house or get dressed. It's a matter of principle and it's a matter of perspective, not what she wears. That's where I'm going. So I put it back on the individual and how they view and their perspectives, because at the end of the day, your decisions are value-based.
Okay, Nelson, what do you think?
Okay, I sort of agree with everything she has said. Save for, I do understand that it is absolutely wrong for a man to assume that because a lady is wearing skimpy things that he has the right to do that to that sort of person. But I don't agree with ladies that wear skimpy things anyways, because I believe that if we men don't wear it, why should women be wearing it? They can cover up, but if they do decide to wear whatever they decide to wear, that shouldn't give any justification to any man to rape them, no matter what. We do understand that men see with their eyes and they get enticed. It's understandable, but that would not justify, give them any justification to do that sort of thing. It shouldn't be done. It should not be done.
Okay. Thank you, Nelson. So, Yuri, let's hear from you. What do you think?
The issue of rape does not just start from the act of the sexual act. It starts from when you start calling people in the streets. You start whistling and you start sort of moving on to a girl. Harassing them when they're not interested. So I don't think we should start from the act itself. We should go a step back. The way our boys are being raised, or most boys were raised or being raised, even still being raised, is to feel that I can take whatever I want. I've got the power to do it. We raise our girls to do better and we fail to raise our boys. So that's what the fundamental issue is. It doesn't matter. I wear very lovely outfits, long, short, I wear it. And I was raised to feel comfortable in whatever I wear. Does that mean I'm asking for you to take or violate me? The answer is no. So Nelson said, if men can't wear it, women shouldn't. Your body structure is different from mine.
Absolutely.
What I would wear that would look nice on me would not look nice on you. Sometimes you wear your jeans. I can't wear your jeans because it doesn't go with the shape of my body. So really and truly, that's why we've got apparels that are specifically made for women. So just because you don't feel I should wear it doesn't mean I shouldn't wear it. And when I do use my money to buy what I want to wear, that doesn't mean I'm not saying that's what you're saying, Nelson. I'm not inviting you as a man to come and violate me. Now, I want us to step back and think about those that do rape. I'll give you an instance. When I was in year 1, my boyfriend was in year 3. And there was a year 1 student like myself that was dating someone in his flat. And I could remember a weekend, I went up to his place, we were going out, and I could hear this girl. She was a year 1 student, but more developed than I was. She was much voluminous. She had a breast and she had her body well set more than I. And people felt that she was too wise for her years. And she wore a very skimpy outfit simply because her parents were well off and they dressed her the way they would imagine anyone should dress. And I could remember now, thinking about this sort of resonates with me. And this young lady, I could remember we were going out with my boyfriend. And she was yelling, she was wailing. And I kind of asked him casually, what's wrong with her? Why is she shouting? And it was like, oh, no, she was just being dealt with. It was later that I found out that this girl was sort of gang raped. And the culture was like, nobody spoke up for her. And when things went out, simply because people heard, and the first thing people went to was because the way she dressed.
Yeah.
So I don't think it has anything to do with what I'm wearing. We've seen instances of the young lady. Let me just finish up because I know Jagwadantis wants to come in. We know of the young lady that was killed in Ibadan as well. This lady was veiled.
Abaka, yeah.
Yeah, she was veiled. So I don't think, I think it has to do with the perpetrators. It has nothing to do with the victims.
Okay, Mr. Jagwadantis, let's hear from you.
Well, unfortunately, for the people that will be listening to this later, the viewers and listeners, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to agree with the social worker among us. The truth of the matter is people who live in the north, in the desert, houses, who cover from head to toe, they still get raped.
Yeah.
Boko Haram, they still rape Muslim women who cover from head to toe. So the issue of appearance has nothing to do with rape. People just want to rape. Well, in some areas, if you dress just normally, basics, and you go, they can miss you like an oversight. They can miss you, or you just get away with it in the face of danger. And somebody who is so, out there flaunting everything may not get away with it. It is not because that person is well covered. It is because of oversight. And she is like a target. The moment you're putting everything out there, you become a target for a madman, not for men. Because we have to understand, like she said, it's about the man. It's about the man who is committing the rape. A rapist is a mad person. I see them as people who have unidentified mental issues. That's the way I see rapists. They have that mental issues there. Nobody is seeing it as a threat because they don't go out and attacking everybody all over the place. Right. But a time is coming when somebody who's well-dressed will pass and they won't see it, and somebody who has all the boobs and everything all over the place will become a target like, oh my God, see. So it is not that Nelson is saying they should not wear it. What Nelson is trying to say is don't put yourself in a position where a madman on the streets will attack you. So if I have a daughter, I'll tell my daughter, if you're going out, you never can tell who's out there. It's like going to driving school. Every other driver on the road is a madman. You should only believe in yourself. That's the way I see this society we are. So we have to understand that no matter what you wear, if you wear hijab from head to toe, if you're going to be a victim, you're going to be a victim.
Okay,
nothing to do.
I'm going to steer us to a different direction now. So I suppose we all agree that no matter what a woman wears, it doesn't mean she's asking for it. Now, in a situation whereby you go clubbing, right? You find a girl in the club and you guys are drinking, okay? And at the end of the night, the girl, starts to follow you home. But you know that she's a bit tipsy, okay? Because you guys have been drinking. Now, would you, if she's all over you when you get home and she maybe wants to have sex with you, would you say that is rape? And maybe you end up having sex with her, but you know that she didn't have her complete faculties because she was a bit tipsy. So perhaps she would or would not have consented to that sexual intercourse. So would you see that as rape? Nelson, what do you think? Let's just think about it. Would you see that as rape, or is it?
Most times, just so let me just the skimpy things I was talking about that I don't agree with, it's not skimpy. It's those that are literally naked, if you know what I mean.
Right.
There are some like that. I'm not talking about. I've seen your pictures. You're far away from it. So I'm talking about those that are naked. But that's like I said, doesn't justify any of such.
Absolutely,
But
yes.
the question, which I'll come back to the question that you asked. Let's remember when a guy and a girl, when they leave in the club, the guy will be tipsy, the girl will be tipsy. So now they are on their way home, and then they've gotten there, and then the first things that the guy will be thinking about is for her to follow me home. This is what she wants. Right? So, but in that process, if anything happens or triggers something, and then she decides to say, you know what, I no longer want this, I would hope that the guy will be able to pull back. But some guys, it's a bit difficult for them knowing that or thinking that you've led them on so far. You cannot hold back now. But at any point, if she says she no longer wants it and the guy carries on and do it, it's still a rape. He should be able to at least hold back as long as immediately or minutes after she must have rejected it. If she rejects it, he should stop.
What if she's so drunk and she's not even able to reject it, for example? What if she's so drunk? She can manage to get to the guy's house, but what if she's so drunk, she gets there, she just falls on the bed and maybe starts to sleep? Then what? Does it mean that the guy can still have his way with her? Yuri, what do you think? I mean, let's probably anybody in the room. What do you think, Yuri? Let's hear from you a little bit. Yeah.
The thing about it is that I've always said it. When you go clubbing, I would advise not to get drunk to a state that you lose all your faculty. That's rule number one. Rule number two is if you are with a person right there and there, look, we're now in the 21st century, and I'm happy that Tony is here so she will shed some moral light to it. We need to now start taking responsibilities from our actions. So as a lady, if you are going clubbing and you know there's a potential that you might not be able to stand your 2 feet at the end of the night, stay right from there. Oh boy, when we leave here, do not do anything to me when we get to your house. At least that sets the tone. And then you guys can now say, oh, why not? Well, I'm feeling you. Yeah, I understand you're feeling me, but the way this night is going, I might drink to a stupor. And I might not be able to say. So I think this is a conversation. People now talk about, gone are those days where people follow steps, where you date, caught, married and have sex. The people are jumping the gun, having sex right from whenever they meet. So if we're comfortable to go down that route, we might as well just start having this conversation. We're going out this night. This is what we're gonna do, and this is what I'm not comfortable doing.
Okay, Tori, let me hear from you. What do you think?
All right, thanks everyone. It's been quite enlightening. So I watched an advert once, a promo about substance. Now, the reason why alcohol, drugs are called substance is because it is not just something you do. It's something that overtakes you. I repeat, it's not just something you do. So alcohol is not just something you do. It's something that takes a hold of you. So this was an advert. It wasn't a moral advert on it. I think it was even Barclays. I can't remember. And it showed this girl in Rewind. It was very enlightening. So it showed her when she was leaving her home, eyebrows on fleek, highlights done, picked her purse, stepped out with a date, and then showed her on her way back. Her purse was lost, one shoe gone, her hair was in total disarray. Yes,
eyelashes
and she
out.
had vomited all over. I'm sure some of you have seen the advert. And at the end of the advert, it says, if you do not want to return like this, take precautions not to leave like this. What am I trying to say? As much as I understand that the guy has no right to take advantage of you when you're like that. Unfortunately, I've had to watch like cases. I don't know. I should have been a legal practitioner in my past time because I watch a lot of CSI, everything, the real and the unreal. And I found out that I felt my heart. I was quite empathetic towards men, and especially celebrity and sportsmen who have found themselves in that situation. Because substance takes a hold of you, we seem to forget that alcohol or any other substance, it reduces your inhibitions, your ability yourself to say no, your ability yourself disregarding the other person to say no to you. So other things that you wouldn't have done, alcohol gives you the ability to do. Go and speak to anyone who has addictions. It gives them the power to become all the things they had ever dreamt of. So what happens? You go out on that date, you pick that girl. You probably never thought you were going to sleep with her, but obviously, things happen in the club. The lights are dimmed to fit purpose. Environments create situations. So you're leaving the club already bumping and grinding. When do you think it was going to end anyway? Without rape already, all of you are high on emotions, high on hormones, and high on substance. So when you get into that room, things are going to happen. The guy, unfortunately, also cannot say no. It doesn't mean he left home a rapist. It means substance has taken a hold of you. So I'm not going to have to go with both Nelson and what Yori said. At the end of the day, we have to, the blame game I always preach started in the Garden of Eden. Somebody ate the fruit, somebody said you gave me. So at the end of the day, roles without responsibility is irresponsibility. If you're going to leave home, you know that a bit of a drink somewhere here and there will get you tipsy. Don't take it. Don't go to environments, that contradict what you believe. I said from the start that every action is as a result of a belief system. It's what you believe that decides your actions. It's not when you get there. And I think Yori said something like that rape does not start from the moment the action starts. And I did say about the psychology of violence, that a lot of the young boys were found out that the risk factors were based on the pornography they had fed themselves with for years prior. Narcissism did not start from the moment he raped that girl on the street. It started from a value system, what he had fed. You eventually become what you eat.
Okay, so Toyi, are we saying it's kind of justifiable because the girl is under the influence? It doesn't justify
rape.
So she's put herself in that position already.
Okay. We stirred the conversation. When we started it, we said, is the girl asking for it? And we all decided on this platform, the girl is not asking for it. Okay. I'm asking that girls and guys take responsibility for once for their actions. And that's why I went back to Genesis. It was a blame game, but both of them were at fault. If you were paying attention, when God puts choices before you, it was for you to have the ability to make decisions. And you can't make decisions when you have impaired judgment. Alcohol and substance will give you impaired judgment. You cannot be irresponsible as a girl and expect a boy to be responsible when you both drank. I just want people to take responsibility. I'm not saying it gives a right. And so when she wakes up the next morning, after the night before, then she decides it was an injustice. I'm not saying it was right for him. I'm just saying both of you should have taking responsibility. And if she knew that she was going to get tipsy, it was about time to go home. And I watched a joke. This is a really sorry joke in Nigeria about a police that was called to a guy's house. And when they got there, it was a rape case. And the policeman said, this is Nigeria, so obviously it was a joke from the beginning. The policeman said, how did you guys, who is this? Is your boyfriend. How did you guys find your way here? Oh, we went to the club. Okay, so you both got here tipsy? They said yes. All right, so where did the rape take place? In the bedroom. Okay, so what happened when you got to the sitting room? Oh, I took my shoes off. Okay, and what next? Oh, I took my earrings off because I was tired. Okay, so what happened to your blouse? Oh, I took my blouse off because I was hot. So what happened when you took your blouse off your shoe? I went to the bedroom to light up. The policeman said then he didn't rape you. But he did. But what I'm trying to say is that the policeman was trying to say that you to take responsibility for your actions. So when we have scenarios, and there are many scenarios with rape happens in marriages. I'm telling you right now, Celia, I've had a case, a counseling session that my husband and I had to be involved in. And this guy will tell the girl, whether you're on your period or not is irrelevant. You're my property. It's a value. It's a mentality problem. That's what I'm trying to say to you. But we also have to teach our girls. And I think Yuri actually said that as well. The way you dress is the way you'll be addressed. And I think Nelson said that sometimes all this skimpy business does not help society, not just our men. It doesn't help society. So as a society, let's go back and look at ourselves and take responsibility for our actions. It does not mean someone has a right to violate you. I repeat, I'm a woman activist on that. It does not give any, not even your husband, does it give him a right to hit violate you? No.
Okay,
no.
we're just going to
take responsibility.
We're going to go to Mr. Jack-Jan-6 real quick. So let's hear your thoughts.
What Toyi is saying, Toyi is going to have a lot of enemies by saying women need to take responsibility. based on my experience, people on social media, they don't like to hear that, you know, and it's the truth. What she said is the real truth. You know, the guy is drunk, the lady is drunk, both naked in bed, but you don't want to be touched. Obviously, when you're under the influence of alcohol, you both are no longer in charge. You're drunk, you are not even saying stop, but you're saying, oh my gosh, yes, yes. Then you wake up in the morning, you discover that your pants is in the living room, your blouse is in the bathroom, the guy's pants is there, and then you're calling the cops, he raped me. But you both came in drunk, you get me? You both had sex, you both enjoyed it, but now you're back to sanity, and you think somebody took advantage. I think that's what Oluwatoyin is saying. So both of them need to take responsibilities, but people on social media, trust me, they just readily have it at the back of your mind. I mean, at the back of their mind that men are the only ones who should take responsibility and tell their body when they're having erection, no, don't do it. You know, they're both drunk. I don't want to take too much time. There's a lot of stories to share, but I will wait till we get there.
Okay. Can I just quickly?
Go on, Nelson, real quick. Yeah.
Because he mentioned those on social media. What we shouldn't do is to allow, because we have 1,000 people saying the wrong thing, to overshadow the right things that 10 people are saying. As long as we're saying the right thing, we should keep propagating it.
Yeah, and I think what Toyin was trying to say there, she's not justifying that because a woman is dressed in a certain type of way, so therefore she's calling for it. She's just saying, it's the way you're dressed, that's how you'll be addressed. And we kind of know that in the society that we're in today. People look at you physically first before they try to see what's inside, okay? So I suppose if people are listening and they're understanding what we're saying or what Toyin was saying, they will get that message. Okay, so now
I'm going to also, Celia, can I say at that point also that remember, we're taking this on a case-by-case basis. The first one, we dealt with rape in a generic term, and then we dealt with rape on a date in a club where substance is involved. Absolutely. So I think it's important that people understand that we're going deeper into the discourse. It's not just, we started with generic rape, we're all against it. And then we're talking about rape, date rape, like they call it, or rape where the substance involved and how parties should take responsibility because it always costs somebody something. Okay. We've seen sportsmen, celebrities go down for this.
I'm going to go, following on from what you just said, you know, celebrity sportsmen, I'm going to go to Harvey Weinstein, right? We all heard the story about the rape allegation against him. Now, what really happened in that situation was that he didn't have intercourse with the woman. He jerked off in front of her and made her watch. Now, would you consider that as rape? Mr. Jagodantis, let's hear from you real quick. Would you say that was rape? He didn't have any penetration. There was no sexual intercourse. He jerked off and made her watch it. So what do you think?
Okay, when she was watching it, was she tied by rope?
I don't think she was. No, she wasn't bound by anything. I think it was just the authority. Because obviously he's in a position of power. You know, so again, I can't remember, but it might have been that if you didn't do this, then you wouldn't get this. You understand? Don't forget, he was a Hollywood director as well. So he was in a position of power. So
were they both naked?
No, she wasn't naked.
Let me come in for 2 seconds.
It's complicated.
Because Harvey Weinstein, and after watching that, I want everyone to watch this Netflix series about Jeffrey Epstein as well. Is Harvey Weinstein's best pal, Filthy Rich. Watch it. It's mind-blowing. These men were men that had power. So that wasn't rape. That was sexual abuse.
Yeah.
That was sexual abuse. Because the thing about it is that you either let me do this or you're not going to advance in your career. So that was different. But at the same time, it carried the same weight as rape did. Because not only did you subject these women to demoralizing situation, their self-esteem was cracked. They couldn't move on. They couldn't do anything. So it was as if you were raping them.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
Men,
I think it's
celebrities, yeah, it's celebrities, men of power, women of power. Apparently, women do this as well. Okay.
Exactly.
I'm
Can I say something about what Yuri just said? Actually, I had to go on the Metropolitan Police website, and it reads that rape and sexual assault are both as serious. So you're very right about that, Yuri. And the difference between rape and assault is actually that scenario that you just gave about how where you're involved in sexual acts with or without penetration.
Okay.
So I think it's important that we be socially aware of the gravity of assaulting people either by them watching you or by penetration. It's the same.
Okay. So let's look at, because the definition of rape I have, it says rape is a type of sexual assault usually involving sexual intercourse or other forms of sexual penetration carried out against a person without that person's consent. The act may be carried out by physical force, coercion, abuse, or authority, or against a person who is incapable of giving a valid consent, i.e. someone with a disability. Now, let's look at it from a perspective of, say, a woman, she wants a job, or a man, okay? Because let's not forget, men too can also be victims of rape, even though it's not very, it's not predominantly out there. So let's assume the situation where a woman goes to an office, or a man goes to an office to request for a job. She's qualified for the job, but then the boss is saying, if you do not sleep with me, I will not give you the job. Okay, and he's coerced this lady to have sexual intercourse with him before he can give her the job. So in a situation like that, she's then said, okay, yes, I would have sexual intercourse with you because I want the job. So in a way, would you say she consented or she didn't? Even though the consent was based on coercion, but then she said yes. So the reason behind the yes is because she was kind of pushed to saying the yes because she wants the job. So what do we think real quick before we round up?
I don't think that's a rape. I think it's an assault.
Okay, so let's not forget the definition of rape says sexual intercourse by coercion as well. And he's just said to her, if you don't have sex with me, you're not going to get the job. And she did this job for her family.
I was just going to refer to your definition. It is rape. It is rape because you have not left her a choice.
So Nelson, do you not think it's rape?
Okay. No, I don't get it. So she accepts it, or she didn't accept it?
No, obviously, because she wants the job. The man has said, if you don't sleep with me, I will not give you the job. So because she wants the job, she then accepts to sleep with the man.
So he abused her.
So would you not say that's rape?
It is rape, yes.
Sexual intercourse.
It is rape, yes.
Okay.
I think what I was saying was she consented to it.
But why did she consent? She didn't consent willingly.
Exactly. Let me give you an example.
She consented because the job, her getting the job was dependent on something.
Exactly. Okay, it's the same as saying your life or your money.
She was forced to do what she didn't want to do.
Yeah.
Then that's a rape.
So even though she said, yes, let me do it because I want you to give me the job. So people might say, well, she still chose to do it. But then if she didn't do it, then she wouldn't have gotten the job.
It's rape. There's no two acts to rape.
Exactly. It's like you being robbed.
Because she didn't want to do it in the first place, and she was coerced or belittled to do it, forced to do it, then it's a rape.
Sorry, Mr. Jagba, you're going to say something.
It's the same as you being attacked by armed robbers and they're putting a gun to your head. Open your leg or I shoot you. And then you're saying, okay, have it. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's not. You saying yes doesn't mean you're consenting. You're just left with no choice.
Yeah.
Left with no choice. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, another thing I'm thinking is, so all this, some perpetrators of rape, when they rape the victim, they don't just leave them and let them go. They kill them. Why is that? Why do they kill them afterwards?
I have answers to that.
I think it will be two things. It's either they're that cycle and they've decided that if they finish this, they're going to kill them, or something goes wrong along the line, and then that happens.
Okay, Mr. Jagba.
I don't think most rape perpetrators set off intending to. There might be some like that, but I don't think most of them are like that.
Right.
Most of them, when it happens, it could be something went wrong, and then that just happens.
Okay. Maybe they suddenly realize they've done wrong. Go on, Mr. Jaguar. Let's hear from you before we round up real quick.
Sometimes it has to do with identification. The moment the mask falls off, or they identify somebody in the group and they know that, yes, this is a threat, she'll go tell the cops, we're not going to get out of this, and then they'll kill her. So the story doesn't get out. Then I was going to tell you that story of different guys who this girl was just promiscuous. She was seeing all of them differently. This one will, speak to her and she will open up. That one will speak to her, she will open up. And she was having fun. But they now, men, they do sit down, drink together and share stories. So one of them just opened the kind of worms like, I'm sleeping with that girl. She's bad. She's mad in bed. And that was like, it's a lie. I'm sleeping with her. The third one will be like, no, she has this spot. So I'm not lying. Yeah. She has a spot. And they all found out that they were sleeping with the same girl. And they planned for her. It's like a big compound with different boys' quarters for students. And they planned for her and they raped her together at once. And she didn't have a choice. They were like, after all, you're sleeping with all of us, so we might as well do it together. And they raped her. So it continued like that. She gave up. After all, I've slept with them. I've got nothing to lose. And, she kept living in the compound. Anyone who wants her will just go there. Hey, what's up? I bought this for you. Sleep with her. Now they've passed out. They've grown up. All of them are married in different places. And they're sending this girl a message asking for apology because of what is online, because of the story that we're reading all over the place now, thinking she's going to come out and call them out. Oh. And there is this other one that I posted that the lady actually mentioned the names of the people who gang raped her. And people were still blaming her. They were asking for evidence. Where do they expect her to go bring evidence from 10 years ago?
Yeah.
So we should shut them down because they don't have evidence. We should not allow them to talk.
Yeah.
You get me? So I was just going to say that story.
It's funny you should say that because I saw, so when that Uwa story came out about the girl that got raped in Benin, right, and got killed after, some guy on Instagram recorded a video of himself and he was saying, well, they found out that she was dating two friends. Okay, they found out that apparently, I don't know how true it is, but apparently they said they found out that she was dating two friends. So that was perhaps what also motivated them to do what they did. And now we're hearing that the pastor of the church was the one that sent people to rape her. So I really don't know that story yet. And Mr. Jaguar, just again, Cubana chief priest, okay, you know him. He brought out a message and he said something like, people that were raped years ago and didn't say anything, why are they all now suddenly coming out to say something? Because they know that the people who raped them are now perhaps celebrities and they've made it in life, so they feel they want to bring them down. And people were saying, but at the end of the day, you cannot tell a rape victim when to come out. She would only come out when she's ready, because again, people are afraid that they will not be believed. There was another thing, I think you posted this as well on your page, where a woman said she told her husband that she was raped and he didn't believe her. So obviously she couldn't go to the police, because if your husband can't even believe you, then who is going to believe you? Okay, so just before we round up, I'll just say, if we have any message, if we have any advice to rape victims or perpetrators of rape, what would that be? So Toyin, let's start from you. What would be your advice to rape victims and perpetrators?
So to rape victims, I think you guys just said it all. Well, and thanks to Mr. Jaguar, Nelson and Yuri. It's actually been a very informative session. I'd say to rape victims, you are not to blame. That's my very first message to you. You are not to blame. I don't care what it is you were wearing, doing that at the time of the rape. You are not to blame. Research has shown that there's a psychological tone to the people, the perpetrators of rape, that make them the problem in society and not you. You are not to blame. Also, like Celia just said about coming out. If you go through, like a friend of mine who's part of rape, it's it's something in social work where you're trained to actually be an advocate for rape victims and victims of domestic violence. And they were taken through a session. I'm going to make this real short. They were taken through a session. So they simulated rape. So they were taken through a session where rape has occurred. Now it's time to have a shower. Now it's time to have the kits being tested, your privates shown, all of that. And then it's time to give the police the report. And then it's time to come forward and give your own version of the story. And when they had been through all 4 processes, the social workers were asked, if you were raped, will you speak up? And they all said no. So which means the cultural, psychological, and stereotypical stigma that go with rape actually force these women or men to go into hiding. So no one can tell you, except they've been in your shoes, can tell you when to come forward, how to get healed, when to get over it. Never tell a rape victim, get over it, because you don't know the impact, the physical injury. And I think you mentioned it about how it causes death. Physical injury in itself could cause death. Some people don't have to, like Mr. Jaguar's example, some people don't have to be killed. The physical injury, we've had a case gone to the hospital before where sex with the husband, because they haven't had sex in a while, caused a rupture in the membranes of the vaginal wall, which caused severe bleeding. She had to go into theater straight away. She almost died. Now imagine that being gang raped all night. You don't need to be injured. That is the injury that results to death. I just need us to get the medical evidence behind rape. It can cause death in itself without any further injury. What else am I going to say? If you are in a situation where you like to go out, partying, a social life is obviously encouraged. So you go out, take responsibility for your own part in that action. If you know that it is not right for you to drink to the point where you would lose total inhibition, remember, substance is not something you do. Sometimes substance takes a hold of you and lowers your inhibition. And in that case, you might not know when to leave, and he might not know when to say no, when to adhere to your no. That's what I'm going to say. It helps you understand limits and helps your party, understand limits as well.
Okay, thank you, Toyin. Nelson, what's your message to rape victims and the perpetrators?
I would say the same thing that Toyin has said. It's not their fault that someone goes further to do a thing like that to them. So they should, whenever they want to come out, they should come out. They shouldn't be vilified for coming out, but for those that do it, it is clear that it's not normal. It's something wrong somewhere that would make someone to do a thing like that. But overall, we should all take responsibility. Because if you go out and you know that something might happen, just act right, behave well. Don't put yourself in that position whereby a thing of such would happen to you. Avoid situations that would warrant things like that. And we should keep on letting those that do it know that what they're doing is wrong and they should stop it.
Yeah. Mr. Jaguar, what's your advice?
Well, first of all, I need to say I commend the ladies who have been courageous enough to step forward and open up. They should continue, and I want to encourage other ladies to follow suit. For the guys, I think we think women are weak, but women are strong for them to come forward. There are a lot of guys, young boys, who have come to me, oh, I was raped by my auntie constantly. I was raped by my senior female cousin. I was raped by my house help, this and that. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought it was fun. I thought I was bigger than my mates. I thought, men were told to, feel big, and I thought I was a big boss. But now that I'm a married man, I can tell that I was being used. I was raped because I wasn't matured enough to give consent.
Yeah.
A lot of them, let them speak. They should be courageous enough. Look at how ladies are coming forward. They too should come forward. We will not look down on them or think less of them. And for the rapists, some were claiming I was equally young. I didn't know I was doing. It is what they did to me that I thought was right that I was doing. Some older people did it to me too as a woman. So me too, I was enjoying it. I thought I should do it to him. That kind of thing. So it's a cycle. It keeps going. Cut it. Let it stop. Educate your kids. Educate your boys. Educate your girls. Let them know that this place is a no-go area. If anybody touches you there, come and speak to me. don't be scared, I'm not gonna beat you. Same for the boys. Not only the girls we should educate, we should equally educate the boys, because boys don't come forward. They don't talk. I have friends who told me they were molested since they were like 8 till they were 16 and they were enjoying it. Their older female cousins would give them the biggest food, everything, and they were special. So that's where I'm going to stop.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
That's
Jagba.
so disturbing. Oh my God.
I know
I
it
think
is, isn't it?
It's so unfortunate.
Yuri, just before Yuri says something, because I might not have the time to say this, just because of what the men actually spoke about. And I know that I have not actually said what the Bible says about this in a while, and I don't want people to get the impression that the Bible is silent about rape, because rape happened even in that time. And the reason I want to say it before Yuri is because I know Yuri are the organizers, so she might want to round up completely. But I just wanted to say that the cases where rape happened, there was judgment. Even when there was not immediate judgment, there was judgment on those people. When Tamar, the daughter of the king, was raped by her brother, he was killed. I'm not suggesting that death is the way forward, but I'm just saying that God is not silent in the case of rape. So I don't want people to have the impression that it will just happen and people will go scot-free. There is judgment for people who go about violating other people. When Absalom was raping all his father's wives on the pinnacle, on the top of the place, the Bible says that he was killed too. So I just want people to understand that there is judgment for rape. God is not silent where there is violence.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Tony. Well, I'm going to go a step further, because I know you guys have advised the rape victims and the perpetrators. My advice will be to the government. We need to now tighten legislation, because we can talk till we're blue in the face what a girl should do, what a guy should do, not put yourself in a situation, not put yourself in circumstances, but there should be consequences for actions. So if there are consequences, then there might be a deterrent, because then you know, if I do this, this would happen. Because we've been talking, I'm happy this is coming out, because everyone is as if 2020 is the year of redemption. Everything is just coming in, and there's a bigger platform now where we can talk about situations. So we are talking, rapists are hearing, the victims are hearing, but I don't see anything regarding legislation. So this is where I want our government to now do the rightful thing, because there's no point us talking you shouldn't do this. There should be actions. There should be consequences for your actions. So if we've got something in place that kind of safeguards rape victims, you know, at the back of your head, if I do A, B, and C, C and D will happen to me. There will be check and balances, and you know, because I don't think that's what is happening at the moment in United States, in other country, in United Kingdom. There are actions, but in Nigeria, like Tony said earlier, the police came and asked, who removed what? Why are you here? How did this happen? They've already made an assumption that for you to walk with your 2 legs in here, you consented to it. So we need to now sit down and look at the legislation, look at the court processes, look at the way rape victims are being questioned. Then we take in from there. So that's just my 2 cents.
Thank you very much, Yuri. You absolutely just said what was on my mind, because I was going to say, what is the deterrent for these perpetrators? Because it's almost as if when you do it, your guys are going to hail you like, well done, you know? So what's the deterrent for these perpetrators? Again, if there was a bigger sentence or whatever it is there, then that will probably make them not do it, because a lot of celebrities are being dragged. I read on Twitter as well, Peruzzi is being dragged. Apparently he raped a girl and he quickly deleted some of his Twitter posts, which kind of was kind of praising himself about what he did. You know, a lot of other people out there. So I just think that in a country, Nigeria, for example, where the age of consent is 11, okay, and you have all this religion and tradition where old grandfathers can marry 11-year-old children, that is already rape in itself. Because, you know, first of all, the child does not even know what they're consenting to. So I think this needs to go from the root. We need to bring it out from the root, make some sort of legislations where at least that the 11-year-old girls cannot be getting married to their grandfathers. And then from there, you know, we can start to look, you know, we can hopefully see a brighter future. But again, thank you so much, guys, for coming in. Mr. Jagba, thank you. Toyin, Nelson, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys will be seeing more of them, okay? Because they're fantastic addition to our show. And obviously to Yuri, thank you so much, my darling. Okay. And yeah, we'll see you again next week. So don't forget, 9:30 every Saturday morning, we tune in to the premiere where you get to ask everybody on the panel questions, okay? So if you're watching this and if you have any question, or if you've watched from last week, just know that you can always come on our premieres and you can ask the hosts question. And it's Saturday mornings at 9:30 UK and Nigerian time. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And on that note, we're going to leave it here. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.